Success is not a pursuit. Success is a predictable result of obeying laws. Write that down. What did I say? Say it back to me. Success is not a pursuit. It is the fruit of obedience to laws. Tweet that to somebody right now. Hashtag laws. If you keep ignoring laws, you will keep scheduling disappointment. If you align with laws, you will schedule results. Chasing is for the valueless. Become what success can't ignore. Say it out loud. Some of you have been sprinting after opportunities like a stray dog after every passing car. Stop it. God did not design you to live panting behind blessings. He designed blessings to run you down when you're in the right lane. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me, says Psalm 23. Follow me, not I follow it. In other words, when you become lawful, what you used to chase will be commanded to chase you. The question on the table tonight is simple. What makes opportunities reorganize themselves around you? That's the question. Write the question. Pin it to your mirror. Because until you can answer that, you will live by luck and call it faith. I want to introduce you to a law I have tested for decades. The law of value and demand. This is not Wall Street. This is Kingdom Street. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:33. Added means rearranged to find you. That's demand reorganized by law. Listen carefully. A magnet does not attend conferences to learn how to chase nails. It doesn't fast for affection. It obeys the law of magnetism, and metal reorganizes itself to meet the magnet. In other words, the magnet becomes a field, not a beggar. Write this down. I am moving from hunting to magnetizing, from guessing to governing by law. Say it with me. We will not be hunters this year. We will be fields of force. The book says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do, for then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Joshua 1-8. Not luck, not maybe. Observe, then prosperous. Do, then success. Reverse the verse. If you do not observe to do, you cannot make your way prosperous. Success is predictably absent where law is consistently ignored. You don't break laws. Laws break you. Gravity does not care about your denomination. Jump off a building in tongues and you will speak to the ground immediately. Laws are impartial. Thank God. Now hear me as a pastor who loves you. Your problem is not that you are unworthy. Your problem is that you are undisciplined with laws. You pray loudly and manage poorly. You have zeal without knowledge and hustle without principle. Proverbs 22:29 asks, do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Diligence is a law. Kings are the reorganization. When you become valuable by law, thrones make room for you. They clear their schedules. They send for you like Pharaoh sent for Joseph, not because you begged, but because famine met your gift and had to bow to it. Let me provoke you. A young man sat in my office, fictional, to protect the guilty boasting of 73 job applications and 73 rejections. I said, son, applications don't create demand. Value does. Obey the law. We aligned his work with his purpose. We refined his craft until excellence became his accent. And we stripped away the copycat features until his gift had a signature. 14 days later, the same companies called him. What changed? He stopped hunting and started radiating a lawful field. Write this down. When the signal is lawful, the market will find you. The law of value and demand says this. When your purpose is clear, your excellence is visible, and your rarity is stewarded, people will rearrange their priorities to access you. That's demand. Value is not vanity. Value is obedience to design. Demand is not flattery. Demand is physics of influence. In other words, when heaven recognizes the order in you, earth must negotiate for access to you. We are not guessing our way to greatness tonight. We are governing by law. Genesis 8:22 says, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Seed time and harvest are laws. So is light. So is magnetism. So is influence. If you plant corn and pray for mangoes, God will find that illegal. Stop praying for what law forbids and start practicing what law guarantees. Write this down. Prayer does not replace law. Prayer prepares me to keep law. Tweet that. Obey the law, attract the result. I want to announce this shift over your life. You are leaving the jungle of frantic pursuit and entering the orchard of predictable harvest. Hunters chase what runs. Farmers attract what grows. Which one are you? Say it out loud. Some of you have been camouflaging your lack of order with activity. Busyness is not business. If your calendar is full and your value is empty, you are a loud vacuum. The market does not buy noise. It buys necessity. From this moment, our sessions will move you step by step from hunting to attracting. We will define value the kingdom way. We will expose how demand works when others rearrange for your gift. We will engineer irresistibility without chasing. But tonight, the foundation is this confession. I submit to the law of value and demand. I will align with purpose. I will cultivate excellence. I will protect distinction. I will become what success cannot ignore. Turn to somebody. If you're alone, turn to your notes and preach to your own soul and say, obey the law, attract the result. Again, louder. Now write it in your planner. Every day I keep laws. Every day success keeps appointments with me. Chasing is for the valueless. Magnets don't chase. They stand, ordered, aligned, disciplined, and they draw. May the Spirit engrave this on your mind. Because from tonight on, you will not stalk opportunity. Opportunity will RSVP to your obedience. Now that your spirit has said yes to magnetizing, let's lay the rails it will run on. Write this down. There's a difference between a law and a rule. Say it with me. There's a difference. Laws are universal, predictable, and built into creation. Rules are local, traditional, and often temporary. In other words, laws are embedded by God in nature and in the kingdom. Rules are embedded by people in systems and schedules. Laws don't need your permission to function. Rules need your agreement to be enforced. Jesus put it this way. Do not think that I came to abolish the law, but to fulfill. Matthew 5:17. And then he says, whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great. And write this down. Greatness is a product of practicing laws, not parroting rules. Let me make it plain. Step off a roof and pray. Gravity is not moved by your feelings or your volume in tongues. If you violate the law will introduce itself to your bones. You don't break laws, laws break you. What did I say? Say it out loud back to me. That's why your safety is not in shouting at gravity. Your safety is in respecting it. Your safety is in obeying the law, not in breaking some man-made rule about don't take the stairs, it's faster to jump. The law does not negotiate. Tweak this right now. If you fight a law, you lose. If you understand a law, you lead. Jesus confronted this confusion constantly. He asked them, why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? Matthew 15:3. Tradition is a rule. Commandment is a law. When they said you can't heal on the Sabbath, that was a rule. The higher law was love and life. He healed anyway and said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Mark 2:27. Successful people break rules to honor higher laws. Write that down. Now say it back to me. Anyone who wants to be truly successful must be willing to defy the comfort of rules when they collide with the clarity of laws. Let me provoke you because I love you. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer alone. It comes by practicing the laws that produce prosperity. Joshua 1-8 does not say mutter and wait. It says meditate to observe, then do, then you shall make your way prosperous and have good success. Reverse the verse. If you do not observe to do, you cannot make your way prosperous. Stop blaming God for what your violation of law created. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever man sows, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6-7. Sowing and reaping is not a church program. It's a law. Prayer positions you. Practice produces for you. Write this down. Prayer prepares me to keep laws. Practice proves I kept them. Rules will tell you wait your turn. Laws will tell you solve the problem. Rules say the office is closed at 5. Laws say value makes people open doors after hours. I remember fictional, to protect the guilty, a young designer told, we only accept portfolios by appointment. That's a rule. He obeyed a higher law. He solved the visible problem publicly. He redesigned a broken city website and posted it with instructions. By midnight, the mayor's office called him. Why? Because the law of value rearranged the schedule. Kings don't make room for people who obey convenience. They make room for people who obey laws that create necessity. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Diligence is a law. Access is the reorganization. I can hear someone say, but doctor, aren't rules important? Yes, when they protect law. No, when they replace it. Rules are like traffic cones. Laws are like the road. Cones move. The road remains. If a cone falls over, you don't drive into the ocean. You respect the coastline. Write this down. Honor immutable laws. Interrogate inherited rules. Many of you are defending denominational dress codes, family expectations, corporate procedures, and social etiquettes that suffocate your gift. If a rule silences your assignment, it's illegal to your destiny. Jesus taught us to practice and teach the law, not to be domesticated by traditions that neutralize purpose. Let me give you another picture. A fish has gills, that's its law. A fish can learn your house rules. No swimming in the living room, but if it obeys your rule and leaves water, it dies. The law of water is not optional to a fish. Your purpose is your water. Some of you are dying politely, obeying rules that keep you in environments hostile to your design. Write this down. Where law is absent, life is absent. Where law is honored, life emerges. Now bring this home to money, influence, and demand. The law of value says, purpose aligned, excellence mastered, rarity protected. The law of demand says, when a scarce needed solution is made visible, people rearrange for it. Rules say don't post too much, don't make waves, don't price beyond the neighborhood. Break those rules if they violate the law. Make your value visible. Govern your price by the law of rarity, not the fear of comparison. Remember this, if you fight a law, you lose. If you understand a law, you lead. Treat that again for the slow ones in the back. I am teaching you what took me decades to confirm. Laws carry you where rules never can. Gravity carries planes because pilots submit to higher laws of lift and thrust. That aircraft isn't cheating gravity. It's obeying a superior law that supersedes it. Likewise, you are not cheating the system when you prosper by diligence, integrity, and service. You are simply flying on lift laws while others argue about airport rules. From tonight, decide this. I will become a student and a steward of laws. I will question every rule that cages my calling. I will pray to perceive the law, plan to practice the law, and persist until the law promotes me. Say it with me. You don't break laws, laws break you. And say this. The law will carry me where rules never can. Now write it in big letters. Honor laws. Ignore limiting rules. Lead. Now that we've exposed rules that muzzle your gift, let's define the very thing the market pays for. Write this down. Value is usefulness aligned with purpose, delivered with excellence, and marked by rarity. I'll say it again, because your future depends on it. Value is usefulness, aligned with purpose, delivered with excellence, and marked by rarity. What creates value? Purpose, excellence, rarity. Say it out loud. Again, louder. Tweet it to somebody who keeps chasing applause with no assignment. Purpose first. Always purpose first. Success is not what you've done compared to others. Success is what you've done compared to what you were supposed to do. Write that down and tattoo it on your planner. Jeremiah 29:11. Listen to the manufacturer. I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope. Plans imply intention. Intention implies design. Design implies purpose. Purpose defines value. In other words, usefulness is illegal until it is aligned with why you exist. A screwdriver can open a paint can, but it was designed to turn screws. When you measure that screwdriver's success by how many cans it pries, you will call abuse creativity. Many of you are applauded for misusing your life. You are good at a job you were never born to do. That's why you are tired even when you win. Write this down. Applause is not approval. Purpose is approval. Doctor, how do I find that purpose? Ask the manufacturer. Ephesians 2:10 says, we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand. Prepared beforehand means there is a lane with your name on it. Stop photocopying other people's blueprints. Your difference is your defense against irrelevance. Purpose decides your audience, your industry, your schedule, your nose. Purpose is your water. Leave it and you suffocate politely. When you align with purpose, usefulness becomes automatic because the design fits the demand God foresaw. Purpose positions you where problems match your wiring. Write this down. Purpose selects your problem. Your problem selects your pay. Excellence next. Once purpose fixes direction, excellence fixes your standard. Excellence is consistency in standards beyond expectation. It is a law that compounds trust. Say that with me. Excellence is a law. You don't visit excellence. You marry it. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but skill brings success. Skill is excellence rehearsed until it removes friction. Excellence is when your worst day is still better than their best day because your standard is a floor, not a ceiling. Excellence is not perfection. It's predictability. It is doing it so well, so often, so dependably that people plan their futures around your reliability. That's trust compounding like interest. Write this down. Excellence creates predictability, and predictability creates access. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings, Proverbs 22:29. Diligence is excellence in motion. Kings are schedules reorganizing. Let me make this practical. A fictional baker, let's protect the guilty, discovered her purpose was nourishing people with integrity. Not just sugar rushes integrity and ingredients for people with real dietary battles. Purpose decided her why. Excellence demanded she standardize recipes, measure hydration to the gram, log oven curve profiles, and verify suppliers. She did not bake when she felt inspired. She baked to a standard when no one was watching. After 6 months, hospitals called her to supply diabetic-friendly desserts because trust had compounded. The market did not reward her feelings, it rewarded her standards. Write this down. Passion without standards is noise. Excellence turns passion into value. Now, rarity. Demand rises as the availability of true substitutes falls. In other words, become uncopyable. Rarity is not being weird. It is protecting the features of your gift that cannot be easily replaced. Saffron is expensive not because it prays more than salt, but because you cannot substitute it without changing the dish. Diamonds are not priced by sentiment. They are priced by scarcity plus utility. Your goal is not to be scarce and useless. Your goal is to be necessary and difficult to replace. Write this down. Reduce your substitutability. How? By combining purpose with excellence in a signature way. Distinction is often in the mix, not the piece. Many can code, few can code financial models in 2 languages and communicate them to non-technical executives. Many can sing, few can heal through song because their lyrics are disciplined by scripture, their tone is refined by training, and their story carries authority. Protect your mix. Don't dilute your recipe to please the neighborhood. Priced by law, not by insecurity. Let me talk to copycats for a moment because I love you. Imitation is fine for practice. It is fatal for identity. If you can be replaced by a template, you will be priced like a template. Write that somewhere big. Template pricing follows template living. Distinction is stewardship. It means you curate what makes your gift rare. Your research, your process, your ethics, your story, your combinations. It means you say no to offers that scatter your signature. Jesus said, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works, Matthew 5:16, good works, not loud words. Visibility anchored in excellence exposes your rarity to lawful demand. Stop hiding and stop blending. Both are illegal to value. Hear the order again, because sequence is a law. Purpose first, so you stop being busy at the wrong assignment. Excellence next, so you become predictably trustworthy. Rarity finally, so you are needed, not merely noticed. What creates value? Purpose, excellence, rarity. Say it back to me. Write this down. Usefulness without purpose is abuse. Usefulness without excellence is unreliability. Usefulness without rarity is a commodity. And commodities compete on price until they bleed out. You are not called to a race to the bottom. You are called to a covenant to the top of your assignment. Let me provoke your pricing mindset for 30 seconds because it's tied to value. You don't price what you do. You price what it costs to replace you. If you can be replaced by 5 people by Friday, the market will treat you like Friday. But if replacing you requires reconfiguring schedules, retraining teams, and rewriting roadmaps, then calendars will bow. That's demand reorganizing. But it starts right here. Purpose, excellence, rarity. Stop praying for kings while courting mediocrity. Stop expecting added unto while you subtract standards. I want you to lift your voice and declare this with me. I align with purpose. I marry excellence. I protect rarity. Say it again. Tweet it for someone who thinks hustle is a substitute for holiness and standards. Jeremiah 29-11 is still in the book. God's plans already contain the arena where your value is legal. Your job is to honor the law, clarify purpose, codify excellence, and cultivate rarity. Then what you used to chase will reorganize itself to find you. What creates value? Purpose, excellence, rarity. May that law be written on your daily schedule starting tomorrow morning. Now let's talk about what happens when value goes public. Write this down. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours. What is influence? Say it. Influence is the capacity to make other people rearrange their plans, their budgets, their calendars for your gift. In other words, you stop begging for a slot and the world makes a slot. That's not magic, that's law. Demand is the market's reorganization around a visible, needed, and scarce solution. Tweet that to your cousin who keeps posting selfies with no solution in sight. Demand is not applause. It is adjustment. It is not compliments. It is calendars moving. Demand is the public confession that your value is needed now. It is attraction, not persuasion. Say that with me. Attraction, not persuasion. Persuasion is you trying to talk the thirsty into drinking. Demand is the thirsty knocking your door down at midnight because you stewarded a well in a dry place. When the need is real and your solution is rare and demonstrated, people don't need a pitch, they need access. Write this down. Access is the proof of influence. Let me paint it simple. A soft drink brand spends billions trying to convince you to be thirsty. That's persuasion. But if you're stranded in a desert, nobody needs a commercial to sell you water. Thirst organizes budgets. Thirst reorganizes priorities. That's demand. If you locate your purpose where the desert is, and you demonstrate a dependable well excellence, and you protect the purity and scarcity of that water, rarity, then caravans will change their routes to pass by your well. They will schedule their journeys by your opening times. That is not luck. That is lawful mechanics. Write this down. Demand follows demonstrated, needed, and scarce value, not noise. Say it again. Tweet this. Demand is attracted to difference that solves the real problem. So here is the definition cycle. What is influence? Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours. What is demand? Demand is the public reorganization around your visible, needed, and scarce solution. You can predict it. Joshua 1-8 told you, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may observe to do. Then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Reverse the verse. If you do not meditate and act, you will not make your way prosperous. Success is predictable. In other words, if demand is absent, investigate your obedience to the laws of value, not your followers. Consider a fictional story protecting the guilty. A young engineer noticed constant delays at the city's ferry terminal. People were missing work daily. He didn't write angry posts. He obeyed the law. He studied the choke points, coded a lightweight scheduling algorithm, then spent 2 weekends on the dock with a volunteer team implementing a color band boarding system. He documented the before-after times publicly and published the results. That's visibility. The next morning, a shipping company called, a councilwoman called, a rival port called. Why? Because demonstrated, needed, scarce value went public. Their calendars moved. Their budgets moved. Their rules bent. That is demand reorganizing around a gift. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Proverbs 22:29. Kings are people whose schedules move nations. Demand makes them move. Please hear me as a pastor. Many of you are confusing attention with demand. Attention can be purchased. Demand must be produced by law. Attention flatters, demand funds. Attention is likes. Demand is invoices paid and doors open. Write this down. The market does not buy noise. The market buys necessity. Necessity is born when a real problem meets a demonstrated rare solution. If your post is louder than your proof, you are illegal to influence. Jesus did not hand out flyers for healing crusades. He solved problems in public. Everyone is looking for you, they said to him, Mark 1:37. That's demand language. He didn't chase them. They found him where he was working. Let me correct something. But doctor, I'm valuable. Why is no one calling? Because value hidden is value denied. Demand requires visibility. Let your light so shine that they may see your good works, not just your good intentions. And not generic works, needed works, not common works, rare works. Your gift must be seen performing where pain is present, and it must be seen consistently. Excellence is not a stunt. It is a standard. When you keep law long enough, trust compounds, and trust triggers reorganization. Think of a magnet again. Metal filings don't negotiate with a magnet. They align with the field. When your life is ordered by law, you create a field. People within the radius of your relevance will begin to align. They will come early. They will wait longer. They will move meetings. They will fly across oceans. They will pay rush fees. They will violate their own convenient rules to honor your higher law solution. That is not arrogance. That is attraction earned. So how do you activate this? Keep it simple. 1, demonstrate. Don't tell us. Show us solving the problem clearly and repeatedly. 2, locate the pain. Stand where the drought is. Stop singing in empty wells. 3, protect scarcity. Don't dilute your signature. Refine it. 4, stay visible with integrity. No hype. Just documented results with humility. That cocktail will do what your networking never could reorganize other people's lives around your lane. Let me call you to confession. Lift your voice. Influence is when others change their priorities for mine. Demand is the public reorganization around my visible, needed, and scarce solution. I will stop persuading where I should be attracting. I will obey the law until the market confesses my necessity. Say it again. Write it down. Tweet it. And remember Joshua 1-8. Meditate to observe. Observe to do to make your way prosperous. Reverse the verse, violate it, and watch prosperity stay illegal to you. Keep it and watch demand, legalize access, favor, and finance in your direction. From this day forward, stop chasing rooms that were never built for your assignment. Build value by law. Reveal it where pain is present. And let demand do what it was designed to do. Move mountains, open gates, and rearrange calendars until your gift is seated where it belongs. Lean in and write this down. Say it out loud with authority so your own ears hear your future talking. Gift multiplied by discipline, multiplied by distinction, equals irresistibility. Again, gift times discipline times distinction equals irresistibility. Tweet that to somebody who's been praying for open doors while leaving their hinges rusty. Listen, this is multiplication, not addition. In other words, if any one of these is 0, the product is 0. You can have a breathtaking gift, but 0 discipline, 0 irresistibility. You can have rigorous discipline, but no distinction. You've built a beautiful commodity. You can be quirky and different, but without a real gift and real discipline, you're just noise in a costume. Write this down. 0 times anything is 0. Don't shout at me, shout at the law. Let's define these 3, because your destiny depends on precision, gift, your inherent design, what you do with ease that serves others with power, not what flatters you, what frees others. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Notice, it makes room, not makes excuses. 1 Peter 4:10 says, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another. Your gift is not a toy, it's a tool assigned to a problem. Paul told Timothy, stir up the gift of God which is in you. 2 Timothy 1-6. Stir, not brag. Write this down. Your gift is God's deposit. Your stewardship is your withdrawal. In other words, the evidence that you possess a gift is that someone else is delivered by it. But hear me, talent invites attention. It does not deserve trust. That's where discipline enters. Discipline is repetition until excellence is reflex. It's the practice nobody sees that everybody pays for. Ask LeBron. You see the highlights. You don't see the 500 free throws before breakfast and the film room at midnight. Paul said, by the grace of God I am what I am, yet I labored more abundantly than them all. 1 Corinthians 15:10. Grace is not opposed to effort, it's opposed to earning. Write this down. Grace gives me a gift, discipline gives my gift gravity. Proverbs 12:24 declares, the diligent will rule. Not the flashy, not the loud, the diligent. Joshua 1-8 told you the formula. Meditate to observe, observe to do, then you make your way prosperous. Discipline makes excellence predictable. And excellence predictable becomes trust. Tweet this right now. Talent invites attention. Discipline secures trust. Distinction commands demand. Now, distinction, the deliberate removal of sameness. Distinction is design. It's when you architect your signature so there is no easy substitute. Daniel distinguished himself because an excellent spirit was in him. Daniel 6-3. Excellence in him. Distinction on him. Distinction is not weirdness. It's specificity. It's the combination of elements that narrows imitation. Write this down. Difference lives in the mix. Many can bake bread. Few can bake gluten-free, low-glycemic bread that tastes like Paris and tests like science. Many can code. Few can architect risk models in 2 languages and translate them to boards without a spreadsheet. Many can preach. Few can teach laws with humor, authority, and measurable outcomes. Distinction is when your method, your ethics, your story, and your standards weave into a fabric no one else can wear without it tearing. Let me stir you with a picture fictional to protect the guilty. Naomi was a physical therapist with a gift for pattern recognition. In human movement, she saw what others missed. That's gift. Discipline. She measured every session, recorded joint angles, recovery times, logged 10,000 repetitions of corrective drills, and reviewed footage at 5 a.m., 6 days a week. Excellence became reflex. Her worst session outperformed the city's best on a good day. Distinction. She combined dance biomechanics, scripture-shaped ethics, and a proprietary microdosing protocol for pain management that avoided dependency. That mix removed sameness. Within months, local teams changed practice times to fit her schedule. A hospital shifted policy to adopt her protocol. And a foreign club flew her business class with a rush fee. Calendars moved. Budgets bent. Rules adjusted. Why? Gift times, discipline times, distinction produced irresistibility. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Kings are systems that reorganize. That's demand confessing necessity. Write this down. Irresistible people are predictable at excellence and unpredictable in creativity. In other words, their quality is never a surprise, but their solution is always a fresh shock. Your excellence must be boring, steady, consistent, clock-like. Your creativity should be surprising, novel, non-obvious signature. Most of you have it reversed. Your quality is a surprise, sometimes good, sometimes embarrassing, and your creativity is predictable. You copy trends late. that is illegal to demand. Tweet this for the saints in the back. Predictability builds the stage. Originality writes the script. Let's tie it back to the law. Multiplication means you cannot compensate for a missing factor by inflating another. Write this down. You cannot outtrain the absence of a gift, but you can bury a gift by refusing to train. You cannot outwit your way into distinction. You must architect it. You cannot pray away the need for practice. Prayer positions you to practice the right thing. Jesus' parable of the talents in Matthew 25 condemns burying capacity. The servants who multiplied were commended. The one who hid his gift was judged. Why? Because the king expects multiplication, not subtraction, not stagnation, multiplication. So here is your immediate assignment. Identify the gift with ruthless clarity, not I like people. What problem do you solve naturally that leaves others relieved? Write it down. Schedule discipline like a covenant. What drills, what reps, what metrics will you measure daily until excellence becomes reflex? Put it on the calendar. And then craft distinction. What is your signature approach? Your method, your ethical line. You never cross your combination that narrows imitation. Codify it, name it, protect it. Price it by its irreplaceability, not by your insecurity. Say it with me again as a declaration. Gift times discipline times distinction equals irresistibility. Louder? Now tweet it and tag your future. Talent invites attention. Discipline secures trust. Distinction commands demand. In other words, stop chasing. Engineer attraction. Obey the law of multiplication inside you until the outside is forced to reorganize. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. Matthew 5:16. Good works, gift, refined by discipline, set apart by distinction. If you will honor this law for the next season of your life, rooms you once begged to enter will beg you to stay. That is not hype. That is the mathematics of destiny. Now let's put an engine under that magnet you're building. Write this down. The 10 P's are the engine of value that converts internal order into external demand. Say that back to me. Engine of value. Good. Now, write these 10 laws and say them with me. Purpose, perception, potential, passion, principles, planning, people, persistence, perseverance, prayer. Again, louder for your future. Purpose, perception, potential, passion, principles, planning, people, persistence, perseverance, prayer. Tweet this. The 10 P's turn private obedience into public demand. Number 1, purpose. Purpose defines your assignment. Without it, effort is mismanaged. What did I say? Mismanaged. Success is not what you've done compared to others. It's what you've done compared to what you were supposed to do. Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. Plans imply purpose. Purpose decides your no, writes your job description, and selects your problems. A fish trying to climb a tree would think gravity is a demon. Wrong environment. Wrong assignment. Write this down. Where purpose is unknown, energy becomes abuse. In other words, until you know why, you will waste what? Purpose positions you where demand is lawful. Number 2, perception. Perception is seeing as laws, see reframing obstacles as design specs for your gift. Elisha prayed, Lord, open his eyes that he may see. 2 Kings 6:17. The army didn't change. His perception did. When you interpret a closed door as an insult, you miss instruction. When you interpret it as calibration, you adjust the hinge. Write this down. Perception is the lens that turns problems into blueprints. Obstacles are often instructions in disguise. Don't ask why me. Ask what law is this revealing. Purpose gives you the target. Perception gives you the sight lines. Number 3, potential. Potential is your inventory of capacities, dormant power, waiting for assignment. Now, unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly, according to the power that works in us, Ephesians 3:20. Not according to the power that visits you, the power that works in you. Write this down. Uninventoried potential becomes unemployed power. Make a capacity, audit skills, experiences, relationships, assets, Patterns you solve naturally. If you don't count it, you cannot compound it. Jesus said, who builds a tower without first counting the cost? Luke 14:28. Count what you have and what you need. Then bridge the gap with discipline. Number 4, passion. Passion fuels discipline. It is energy under assignment. Romans 12:11 says, be fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Fervent, not frantic. Write this down. Passion is an accelerant, not a compass. Ungoverned passion is wildfire. It burns homes. Governed passion is a furnace. It heats cities. Passion should report to purpose every morning and to principles every evening. If your passion keeps changing your address, it's illegal. If it keeps powering your standard, it's holy. Number 5, principles. Principles are the non-negotiable laws you obey daily. They make life predictable. Joshua 1:8, meditate to observe to do. Then you make your way prosperous. Reverse the verse and you reverse the outcome. You don't break laws. Laws break you. Principles remove guesswork. Tithing is a principle of first. Forgiveness is a principle of freedom. Diligence is a principle of rulership. Write this down. Principles standardize excellence so trust can compound. When your day is governed by principle, your outcomes become forecastable. Demand loves forecasts. Number 6, planning. Demand respects preparation. Schedule excellence. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Vision written is permission given to yourself and to others. If it's not on your calendar, it's only a confession. Planning translates principles into appointments. Write this down. Your calendar is your covenant. Plan rehearsals, plan reviews, plan rest, plan mentorship, plan publishing. Luke 14:28, again count the cost. Planning is humility on paper. It says, I honor law enough to make room for it. Kings don't call people who wing it. Number 7, people. Proximity is a law associated with those who demand growth from you. He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Proverbs 13:20. Bad company corrupts good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Write this down. Access is stewardship. If your circle celebrates your excuses, you are illegally networked. Choose people who force your standards up, who ask for your metrics, who confront your drift, and who protect your distinction. Move closer to pain solvers and law keepers. Honor mentors, prune leeches, and curate peers who are allergic to mediocrity. People are either multipliers or diluters. Check your math. Number 8, persistence. Persistence is consistent application, repetition with feedback until excellence becomes reflex. The diligent will rule. Proverbs 12:24. Not the gifted, the diligent. Write this down. Repetition is the law of mastery. The longest way to success is the shortcut. If you keep changing the drill, you will never own the skill. Show up, measure, adjust, repeat. Persistence turns your good day into your average day. And when your average day outperforms their best day, calendars begin to move. Number 9, perseverance. Persistence is cadence. Perseverance is endurance under resistance. Galatians 6:9, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Hebrews 6:12, through faith and patience we inherit the promises. Write this down. Resistance reveals readiness. Demand tests durability. When applause pauses, will you keep the standard? When doors delay, will you keep the drill? Please hear me. Storms don't cancel laws. They confirm them. Stay, refine, review, continue. The seed that survives the wind owns the field. Number 10, prayer. Prayer is alignment and stamina, communion that keeps you inside the laws you've chosen. Prayer is not a substitute for law. It is support to obey it. Jesus rose a great while before day to pray, Mark 1:35. Why? To align assignment, perception, and power before the crowds arrived. Philippians 4:6-7, prayer stabilizes the mind, so decisions honor principles. Write this down. Prayer tunes perception, expands potential, purifies passion, anchors principles, clarifies planning, assigns people, renews persistence, and hardens perseverance. In other words, prayer oils the engine so it doesn't seize under pressure. Let me pull the sequence together so you never forget it. Purpose decides your lane. Perception identifies the path within the lane. Potential supplies the vehicle. Passion adds the fuel. Principles are the traffic laws. Planning is your route and schedule. People are your passengers and pit crew. Persistence is your steady acceleration. Perseverance is your traction in the rain. Prayer is your alignment shop every morning. Tweet that to somebody who keeps praying for speed with no steering wheel. Make it practical now. Take tomorrow morning, 30 minutes, and write your purpose in one sentence, your assignment to a specific problem for a defined people. Then list 3. Perception shifts. You must adopt. Obstacle equals instruction. Delay equals design. Critique equals calibration. Inventory, potential. 5 capacities you have, and 2 you must acquire. Define passion boundaries. What stirs you and what time you will pour it through. Codify 5 principles, non-negotiables for health, study, practice, integrity, generosity. Build a weekly planning template. Block sessions for drills, publishing, review, and rest. Curate people who gets more access, who gets less, and who gets none. Choose one arena to persist, one drill you will do every day. Choose one promise to persevere what standard you will keep when it hurts. Close with prayer. Consecrate the list and ask for grace to obey it, not to admire it. Joshua 1-8 is still the operating system. Meditate to observe, observe to do, then you make your way prosperous. Say them with me one more time. So your mind engraves the order: purpose, perception, potential, passion, principles, planning, people, persistence, perseverance, prayer. Again, louder. Write this down and tweet it to your future. The 10 P's turn private obedience into public demand. In other words, when the inside is ruled by law, the outside reorganizes by necessity. You won't have to knock on every door. The right doors will check your calendar. That's not hype. That's holiness obeyed until it becomes mechanics. Now go build the engine, turn the key, and drive your assignment until kings adjust their routes to meet you. Start the engine where the traffic is. Write this down. Demand lives where problems are visible and solutions are proven. Say it back to me: visible and proven. Not imagined, not private, not trust me, proven. Tweet this right now. If they can't see it, they can't demand it. In other words, demand is not born in your head, it's born at the scene of a measured problem. So stop solving invisible problems in secret and wondering why calendars won't move. Go to the intersection where pain is counted, where clocks are ticking, and where somebody's board is asking, who can fix this by Friday? Let me take you to the shore with Jesus and the fishermen, because laws don't change with time. They fished all night and caught nothing. Wrong location, wrong depth, wrong side. That's Luke 5. Then Jesus said, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Luke 5-4. Instruction precedes abundance. Later, after resurrection, cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. John 21-6. Right side, specificity. Wrong side, nothing. Right side, too much. Write this down. Lawful instruction is more profitable than loud effort. They had skill, they had experience, they had boats, but without public obedience to a specific instruction at a specific place and depth, there was no demand response. When they obeyed, the problem empty nets was solved visibly, measurably, in front of a watching crew. So much fish, they had to signal partners. That's what demand looks like. Others rearrange to help you contain your results. Go where the pain is measured. What did I say? Measured. That means boards, metrics, deadlines. Go to the hospital where readmission rates are on a whiteboard. Go to the school where the 3rd grade reading score is posted on the wall. Go to the city's 311 dashboard where pothole response times are public. Go to the startup's bug tracker where crash reports are time-stamped. Go to the pastor's prayer list where marriage counseling wait times are choking peace. Demand is born where someone is counting tears in hours and dollars. If your solution lives only on a pretty slide, you are allergic to accountability and illegal to influence. Tweet that to your friend who keeps changing fonts instead of changing outcomes. Make your results readable. Write this down. Before, after, time saved, money made, peace restored. Not vibes, not opinions, proof. James 2:18 says, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Works are numbers with names attached. Jesus healed lepers and then said, go, show yourselves to the priests. Luke 17:14. Why? Verification, public certification. In other words, even miracles submit to metrics. So you publish case studies with baselines and deltas. Before, 7-minute average wait. After, 11 minutes. Sustained for 30 days. Before, 24% proficiency. After, 81% in 90 days. Before, 5 panic episodes per week. After 1 per month with documented protocols. Let your light so shine that they may see your good works. Matthew 5:16. Not may hear your good intentions, may see your good works. Let me give you a story, fictional, to protect the guilty, but accurate enough to convict the lazy. Mr. Alvarez was an assistant principal in a rough district. Tardiness was strangling instruction. He didn't schedule a pep rally. He obeyed law. He mapped bus arrivals, audited hallway bottlenecks, and redesigned entry flow with color-coded lanes and 2 music cues. He put a massive board in the lobby daily, on-time percentage posted at 8:10 a.m., visible to parents, teachers, and students. He ran the protocol for 30 school days, filmed days 1, 15, and 30, and published the clips and numbers to the district portal. Tardiness dropped from 31% to 6%. Discipline referrals fell by 40%. Instructional minutes reclaimed, 63 per student per week. The next week, 2 neighboring schools called. The week after that, central office called. Budgets moved, calendars moved. Why? Because demand lives where problems are visible and solutions are proven. Consistency is king. Do it once and it's a stunt. Do it for a month and it's a system. Proverbs 22:29 says, do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Kings don't read your captions, they read your dashboards. They are allergic to hype and addicted to forecasts. So set a cadence. Choose 1 public arena, select 1 measured pain, design a simple 2-week intervention, collect baseline data for 3 days, implement for 10 days, report daily, review on day 14, publish on day 15. Write this down. The one who brings receipts becomes the reference. In other words, when you become the person with evidence, you become the person everyone references when they're in trouble. Stop auditioning your potential. Audition your proof. But doctor, I'm an introvert. Great, post a chart. But I don't like cameras. Great, scan a signed testimony with numbers. But I'm not good at marketing. Good news, truth markets itself when pain can read it. Tweet this. If they can't see it, they can't demand it. Make a 1-page results sheet. Problem stated. Metrics before, protocol applied, metrics after, time window, and verification contact. Put it on your website, pin it to your profile, hand it to a decision maker. Proverbs 27:2 says, let another man praise you and not your own mouth. When your sheet is accurate, others will do the praising. You just keep solving. Here's your activation drill. Tonight, list 3 pains in your environment that are already measured: response time, defect rate, dropout rate, error percentage, complaints per week. Circle 1. Write a simple law-aligned intervention you can execute within your current authority. Set a visible board, digital or physical, and post a baseline tomorrow. Implement for 10 days. Publish daily deltas. Ask for feedback. On day 11, request a 5-minute slot to present your curve. Then ask this sentence: where else do you want this result? That question will open gates because proof gives you permission. Joshua 1-8 still governs the process. Meditate to observe. Observe to do. Then you make your way prosperous. Reverse the verse and you reverse the demand. Lift your voice and declare, I will go where pain is measured. I will solve in public. I will make my results readable. Before and after. Time saved, money made, peace restored. I will publish proof, not opinions. Say it again. Because demand is waiting at the scoreboard, not in your secret notebook. Solve visible problems in public and watch the world reorganize its schedule to meet you at the dock where nets break and partners run to help you carry the catch. Now that you've made your results readable, we need to make your results reachable. Write this down. Design a value ladder from free to priceless so demand knows exactly where to put its feet when it decides to move towards you. Say ladder. Good. Tweet this. Packaging is how value introduces itself to demand. In other words, if they can't see the steps, they can't ascend. You don't need more hustle. You need handles. Kings don't climb cliffs. They climb stairs. Here's the law. Build 3 clear rungs. Number 1, entry value. Free or low friction access that solves a small felt problem with disproportionate clarity. Number 2, core offer. The structured container of your excellence where outcomes are reliable and priced with honor. Number 3, premium. The expression of your rarity custom, scarce, protected access that reorganizes systems because it cannot be substituted. Write that down. Entry, core, premium. Say it back to me. Entry, core, premium. Very good. Let's sanctify your first step. The law of first fruits governs reputation. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your increase. So shall your barns be filled. Proverbs 3:9-10. Romans 11:16 adds, if the first fruit is holy, the lump is also holy. Write this down. Your first touch trains the market how to think about your name. Lead with disproportionate value, upfront clarity, usefulness, and relief that makes them say, if this was free, what on earth is behind the door? That is not manipulation. That is law. Jesus fed 5,000, but notice the packaging. Make them sit down in groups of 50. Luke 9:14. Order before overflow. He organized the receiving system before multiplying the product. Your entry value should do the same. Organize trust. Offer a 1-0-minute diagnostic that pinpoints the bottleneck. Provide a 1-page template that saves an hour this week. Host a short clinic where you demonstrate your method on a live problem and publish the before, after. Remember, you are not giving away your covenant, you are giving away your clarity. First fruits are a signal of holiness, not a liquidation of your field. Now the core, this is your excellence packaged. Name it. Define the promise, the process, and the proof. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain, that he may run who reads it, make it runnable. Write this down. Friction is the enemy of demand. Remove it. Give me clear steps, clear timelines, clear outcomes. Book the diagnostic. Receive a plan in 48 hours. Execute for 14 days. Review on day 15. Don't make them guess. Provide sample reports. Show the calendar blocks. Document what you need from them to succeed. Demand respects preparedness. Tweet this to your future client. If success cannot find the doorbell, it won't knock. Price requires courage. Most of you don't have a pricing problem. You have an identity problem. Price does not just charge. It communicates confidence, category, and covenant. Write that down. It says who you are, which arena you play in, and the seriousness of your promise. The laborer is worthy of his wages. Luke 10:7. When you underprice, you violate the wages law and you lie about your category. Cheapness is not humility, it's confusion. Price the core by outcome and irreplaceability, not by your insecurity. Show tiers tied to measurable value, not to your mood. Put it on one page. If you won't publish, you won't prosper. Kings don't chase whispers, they read sheets. Now, premium the realm of your rarity. This is where you create what cannot be imitated without you. Jesus had crowds, but only 12 had daily proximity. Scarcity on purpose. Your premium might be a retainer where you install your system into an organization with guaranteed response times. It could be a custom build with licensing of your IP templates, scripts, protocols with quarterly governance. It could be a cohort limited to 12 seats that runs for 12 weeks with direct feedback on live problems. The scarcity is lawful, anchored to quality, calendar, and covenant. Write this down. Scarcity without standards is gimmick. Scarcity with standards is governance. Price premium to protect excellence, not to exclude people. You are stewarding outcomes, not renting minutes. Let me paint it with a story fictional to confront the timid. Elias was a cybersecurity analyst with a gift for seeing attack patterns before they formed. Entry value, a free 5-minute port scan template, and a 1-2-minute video on how to score your small business risk in under an hour. He led with precision and saved strangers money that week. Core offer, the 1 4-day hardening sprint, 2 fixed calls, a documented plan in 48 hours, daily checklists, and a final report with a pass-fail scoreboard shipped on day 15. Price, 3 tiers tied to network size and required uptime, not to the number of emails. Premium, license and guard. Elias installed his signatures into a client's environment, trained their staff, licensed his dashboards for a year, and sat on call with a guaranteed 30-minute response limited to 5 clients per quarter. Within months, an insurer demanded Elias's report before writing a policy. A bank rearranged vendor lists to onboard him faster. Calendars moved. Why? Value had a ladder. Price had a voice. Packaging introduced Elias to demand before he entered the room. Write this down and tweet it. Packaging is how value introduces itself to demand. If your package is sloppy, your excellence is invisible. If your steps are foggy, your outcomes are unbelievable. If your price is timid, your promise is suspicious. So remove the friction now. Build a 1-page value ladder, left column, entry, core, premium. For each, write the name, the promise in 1 sentence, the exact steps with time boxes, the proof you publish, the price, and the capacity you can honor. Add 1 big button per rung. Start the diagnostic. Begin the sprint. Request premium fit. If your path requires a PhD to navigate, you are disobeying Habakkuk. Let me insert a law again, the law of doors. Jesus said, I am the door. John 10-9. Doors clarify access and protect value. Your ladder is a series of doors with names and handles, not a maze with mirrors. And your first fruits at the door sanctify the hallway. Give them an honest taste that works today. Then invite them to the room where you work wonders consistently. Then reserve the vault where you covenant with those who will honor your standard at the level of kings. Say this out loud so your soul hears it. I will not hide my excellence behind fog. I will lead with holy first fruits. I will price by covenant, not by insecurity. I will remove friction with clear steps, clear timelines, and clear outcomes. I will build a ladder from free to priceless so that demand can climb without confusion. One more time. Louder. Because success is lawful and predictable when obedience organizes access. Sit them in groups of 50. Write it plain. Name the doors. And watch opportunities run, not wander toward the rung that matches their hunger. You name the doors. Now watch the hallway fill. When value is plain, demand speaks. Write this down. Demand speaks in signals, not sentiments. Say signals. Good. What are they? Invitations you did not solicit. Referrals you did not request. Wait lists you did not plan for. Prepayments you did not beg for. Those are laws talking. By their fruits you shall know them, Matthew 7:20. Not by their feelings, by their fruits. In other words, the market is testifying about your obedience. Don't get emotional, get measuring. Write this down and say it out loud. Measure conversion, not applause. Likes are compliments. Contracts are confirmations. Tweet that right now. If you build your decisions on claps, you will die of dehydration in a desert of vanity. Proverbs 27-23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. Translation, know your numbers. So what do we measure? Number 1, invitation, velocity. How many inbound invitations arrive per week? From where and with what urgency? Number 2, referral density. What percentage of new inquiries mention a name you already served? Number 3, wait list pressure. How many qualified prospects are queued? How long they wait? And how many stay engaged past 7 days? Number 4, prepayment rate. What percentage of contracts include deposits before delivery? Number 5, conversion rates at each door of your ladder. From entry to core. From core to premium. Stop guessing. Put it on a dashboard. If kings are calling and you don't know why, you will mismanage the moment and the Lord will discipline you. Mentors and multipliers are signs of maturity. Write this down. When the influential adjusts for you, demand is maturing. What did I say? Say it again. Adjust for you. Joseph's gift brought Pharaoh to rearrange a nation's agriculture. Daniel's excellence moved kings to change edicts. Proverbs 22:29. He will stand before kings, not just in the room before them. That means calendars bend. When a CEO offers you their earliest slot, when a pastor moves a staff meeting to hear your protocol, when an investor asks you to train 3 portfolio companies at once, that's a multiplier. A mentor who opens their platform to you is a multiplier. A client who brings 3 other clients to your meeting is a multiplier. Measure it. Track buyers who bring buyers as a distinct metric. If your work produces multipliers, guard the standard. They are bridges to cities you could not build in a lifetime. Now govern capacity like a priest, not a pirate. Write this down. Clarity creates demand. Governance sustains it. Tweet it. It is illegal to let demand push you into violating the law of excellence. Overload is not honor, it's negligence. Jesus healed multitudes, yet he limited proximity 12, then 70. He fed 5,000, but he sat them in groups of 50. Luke 9:14, order before overflow. Acts 6 shows us governance. It is not desirable that we should leave the word of God and serve tables. Choose 7 men whom we may appoint over this business. Acts 6:2-3. That wasn't arrogance, it was alignment. Exodus 18, Jethro told Moses, appoint rulers of thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s. That's capacity architecture. So create ethical cues. Publish your capacity by tier. If your call offer is booked, say it plainly and offer the next lawful step. The diagnostic next Tuesday, the sprint next month, or a vetted partner today. Give priority to prepayments and to fit, not to flattery. If someone tries to jump the line with compliments, remember, compliments don't keep covenants. Contracts do. Design your wait list with dignity. Write this down. A holy queue has clarity, cadence, and care. Clarity, exact dates for review and start, required pre-work, and what qualifies someone to skip the queue. For example, enterprise urgency, validated by baselines and prepayment. Cadence, weekly updates. You are number 7. Average weekly movement is 3. Estimated start is April 10. Care offer an entry tool that helps them make progress while they wait. And a graceful off-ramp if their timeline changes. Do not hold people hostage. Governance is love in public. Partnerships are lawful governance. If demand exceeds the borders of your calendar, either shrink promise or expand hands. Do not expand promises. Appoint hands. Train partners in your principles, license your methods, and set quality gates. Think Acts 6 again. Delegation with empowerment and oversight. Write this down. Collaboration multiplies without mutation when principles are codified. Create SLAs, response times, review checkpoints, escalation paths. If a partner cannot obey your principles, they cannot carry your name. Better to refer out of covenant than to deliver out of chaos. Let me give you a story, fictional, to awaken your stewardship. Mara was a pediatric speech therapist who designed a 2-one-day play-to-say protocol for late talkers. After publishing 3 before, after charts with videos, her inbox exploded 40 inquiries in a week, half from pediatricians. Signals, invitations arrived. 2 clinics offered subcontracts. A local parent group begged for a workshop. 1 hospital asked for a pilot. Mara measured. Referral density hit 68%. Prepayment rate on her core sprint reached 90% when she posted a simple deposit link. Wait list ballooned to 16 families. She felt flattered and tempted to fit everyone this month. Illegal. Instead, she built an ethical queue with weekly updates, gave every family a free 10-minute play script to use immediately, and licensed 2 trained therapists under her supervision. She created a clinic workshop once a month for those on the wait list. Public proof continued. The hospital pilot began on schedule with deposits. Compliments were nice. Conversions were law. 6 months later, insurers called, asking if Mara's report could replace 3 separate forms. Calendars moved. Why? Clarity created demand. Governance sustained it. Here is your governance drill. Tonight, build a 1-page signals board. Left column, invitations count and source. Next, referrals, percentage, and names. Next, wait list count, average days waiting, engagement score. Next, prepayments, percentage, and average time to deposit. Next, multipliers, number of buyers who brought buyers, and who those buyers are. At the bottom, capacity slots available by tier for the next 8 weeks. Updated every Friday. Send a 2-paragraph capacity email to your list. What's open, what's queued, and what's new. Proverbs 16:11 says, honest scales and balances belong to the Lord. Honest capacity is an honest scale. Lift your voice and declare, I will treat demand signals as laws to be measured and governed, not emotions to be flattered. I will measure conversion, not applause. I will honor capacity with cues, partnerships, and principles. I will recognize multipliers and protect my standard. Say it again. Because when you read the signals and govern by law, you stop chasing wind and start stewarding seasons. And seasons, like laws, are predictable to the obedient. Now let's put skin on this. Write this down. Greatness honors higher laws, even when it means defying comfortable rules. Say it out loud. That's right. We've been measuring demand like kings. Now we must protect the conditions that produce it, even if the crowd, the committee, or the calendar says, that's not how we do things here. Tweet this. Tradition resists, law rewards. In other words, if comfort is your compass, you'll miss your calling. Look at Jesus. The Bible says he healed on the Sabbath. That wasn't rebellion. That was reverence to a higher law. Mark 2:27, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Write that down. When rules suffocate people, laws of love and restoration take jurisdiction. In Mark 3, a man with a withered hand stood in the synagogue. The religious rule keepers were watching to accuse him. Jesus asked, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill? Then he said, stretch out your hand, and the hand was restored. He did not break the law. He fulfilled it. Matthew 5 says, I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill. In other words, he broke the tradition to keep the intention. Write this down. Rules protect traditions. Laws protect outcomes. Jesus chose outcome restoration over the comfort of committee approval. And what happened? Influence. Crowds reorganized their routes to meet him. Demand followed obedience to law. Let me provoke your mind, innovators who remove sameness. The law of user value says clarity, speed, and relief. Legacy rules say we've always used this interface. We've always sold it in stores. We've always charged late fees. Then a company said, remove the buttons, 1 glass pane. Somebody in the room shouted, illegal. Phones need keyboards. No, phones need laws, obeyed, simplicity, speed, delight. Another team looked at rental rules, rewind fees, store aisles, closing times, and obeyed a higher law. Immediate access and transparency. They mail DVDs, then stream bytes. Rule, Friday nights require a car ride. Law, Friday nights require a story with 0 friction. The market, hear me, reorganized around the one who kept the law of value. Brick aisles died. Bandwidth budgets exploded. Write this down. Innovation is lawful disobedience to sameness. Say it back to me. Lawful disobedience. You don't need permission to remove confusion. You need conviction to honor clarity. Tweet this right now. If a rule protects confusion, break it. If a law protects people, keep it at all costs. Athletes understand this innately. Off-season laws produce in-season demand. Proverbs 22:29 again. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Diligence is an off-season law. Teams don't chase highlights. They pay for habits. An all-star doesn't negotiate on emotion. They negotiate on predictable output, sleep law, nutrition law, repetition law, recovery law. Write this down. Contracts reorganized around rare consistency. The player who trains when you sleep, who studies film when you scroll, shows up in April with numbers that bend budgets in July. Rule says, take it easy after a good season. Law says, sow in the dark so harvest has no choice at dawn. That's why franchises realign rosters, cap space, and schedules to secure one disciplined body. Demand honors the law of mastery. One more time. Off-season laws create in-season leverage. Now, civil courage. When rules protect its function, lawful conviction disrupts. Write that down. Moses confronted Pharaoh's edicts because God's law valued liberty over labor quotas. The midwives in Exodus refused to kill the sons. They kept a higher law of life. In modern memory, a woman sat down on a bus where rules said she must stand. Her name, Rosa Parks. She didn't vandalize. She vindicated a law of dignity. Dr. King marched against ordinances that baptize inequality. He quoted Amos, let justice roll down like waters. Laws of justice confronted rules of convenience. Tradition shouted, law answered. And governments, listen, reorganized. Policies moved. Calendars of schools and courts shifted. Entire economies replumbed to honor a law embedded by God. Tradition resists. Law rewards. I can hear you asking, how does this touch my business, my ministry, my craft? Write this down. Wherever rules block outcomes, that laws demand clarity, excellence, dignity, stewardship, you must choose courage. What did I say? Choose courage. If a board insists you add features that confuse users, you obey the law of simplicity and cut. If a client wants you to skip diagnostics to move fast, you obey the law of excellence and say no. If your culture protects lateness with charm, you obey the law of time and install start times with teeth. If a licensing gatekeeper wants you to dilute your standards to fit their template, you obey the law of distinction and build your own door. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Joshua 1-8 did not promise prosperity by popular vote. It promised prosperity by meditation and observation that produces action. Let me give you a story. Fictional, but faithful to the principle. A hospital IT director named Sana inherited a system that crashed weekly. Rule said, patch on Fridays at midnight, because that's when we always do it. Law said, protect patient throughput and surgical scheduling. Sana studied failure logs and discovered Friday night spiked due to weekend staffing patterns. She broke the rule, moved patches to Tuesday, 2 a.m., separated critical services into containers, and instituted a rollback protocol with a 10-minute SLA. The change committee laughed. We've never done Tuesdays. She said, patients don't bleed on your schedule. Within 60 days, crash minutes dropped 93%, or delays fell 21%, and a payer increased reimbursement because discharge predictability improved. The CFO reorganized budget lines to expand Sana's team and license her process across 2 other facilities. Why? Law rewarded courage. Tradition resisted. Outcomes converted. Write this down and tweet it. Tradition resists. Law rewards. Jesus showed it with a withered hand. Innovators proved it with buttons removed and aisles abandoned. Athletes embodied it in the dark before dawn. Reformers marched it into policy. In every case, demand followed the one who honored a higher law over a comfortable rule. So here is your test this week. List 3 rules you are obeying that produce confusion, delay, or mediocrity. Next to each, write the higher law. It violates clarity, excellence, dignity, stewardship, love. Design one courageous step that keeps the law and confronts the rule with respect and receipts. Do it in daylight. Publish the result. And when resistance speaks, answer with outcomes. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Say it with me. I will break rules to keep laws. I will choose outcomes over optics, people over protocols, clarity over comfort, excellence over excuses. One more time. Because greatness is not rebellion. Greatness is lawful courage. And when you honor the law, opportunities will defy their own rules to get to you. Before we step into the next gate, I must warn you, like a shepherd who smells a wolf upwind. Write this down. Demand can be created by law, but it can be destroyed by sabotage. The saboteurs are simple, seductive, and spiritual sounding shortcuts, comparison, and busyness. Say those three out loud. Good. If you permit them, they will drain the oil from your lamp and leave you chasing what once chased you. First, shortcuts. The longest way to success is the shortcut. Say it back to me. Louder. That's right. Every law God made includes time, sequence, and weight. The seed does not negotiate germination. Gravity does not discount for your excitement. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6-7. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little makes it grow. Write this down. Acceleration without formation produces collapse. Some of you are asking for harvest your character cannot warehouse. You buy followers. You plagiarize methods. You promise outcomes you have not proven. And then you wonder why the ground refuses your seed. That's not the devil. That's a law correcting a liar. Joshua 1-8 does not say pray day and night. It says meditate day and night. Observe to do. And then you will make your way prosperous. In other words, prayer fuels. Principle guides. Practice builds. And prosperity follows. Stop leaping over the training. It is illegal. Let me paint it with a parable. Tay was a young consultant who hated obscurity. He scraped case studies from strangers, bought online reviews, and slashed prices to win momentum. The inbox blipped for a month. Attention, then refunds exploded. Referrals vanished. And a blogger exposed the scraped paragraphs line by line. Demand did not just stop, it revolted. Tay shut down his site and started over. This time, he obeyed the law of process, 12 weeks of documented problem solving at a community center, public write-ups with dates and failures included, 3 slow testimonials with measurable outcomes. He thought he lost time. In 12 weeks, a hospital called. Why? The law began to trust him. Write this down. Process is not delay, it is certification. Tweet this now. Don't chase attention. Cultivate authority. Second, comparison. Success is assignment-based. Comparison dilutes distinction and depresses demand. What did I say? Say it back to me. Paul writes, when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise. 2 Corinthians 10:12. Success is not what you've done compared to others. It's what you've done compared to what you were supposed to do. Your gift is your lane. Your distinction is your license. When you stalk another person's highlight reel, you abandon your blueprint and try to rent theirs. And here is the law. Demand is allergic to copies. Songs sung in someone else's key strain your voice. Shoes one size too small blister your feet. Imitation might give you applause. It will not give you authority. Write this down. Comparison corrupts calibration. It makes you aim at the wrong target with the right energy. Distinguish, don't duplicate. Ask, what did God give me to solve? Jeremiah 1-5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, I appointed you. Appointment cancels comparison. Third, busyness. Activity without alignment violates the law of purpose. You are busy, but are you fruitful? Jesus visits a home. Luke 10:41-42. Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen the good part. Write that down. Many things versus one thing. Some of you wear your calendar like armor meetings, coffees, DMs, updates, and yet there is no evidence on Friday that you moved anything governed by your assignment. That is illegal. Proverbs 27-23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks, not your feed, your flocks. The outcomes you're responsible for. Busyness is motion without migration. It is clapping in place. Time is a law. Waste it and it will break you. So audit your calendar this week. Circle every hour that produced measurable fruit aligned with your gift, problem solved, protocol refined, case study published, client advance. Everything else Either eliminate it or schedule it behind the fruit. Write this down. I don't manage time, I manage priorities by law. Let me confront a spiritual saboteur. Bypassing. Prayer is not a replacement for practice. It is the fuel for obedience to law. Write that down. I love prayer. I pray in tongues, I fast, I worship. But listen carefully. Prosperity does not come by prayer. It comes by keeping laws. James 2:17 says, faith without works is dead. Reverse Joshua 1:8, and it preaches a warning. If you do not observe to do, you cannot make your way prosperous. Do you see it? Do not ask God to bless a field you refuse to plow. Proverbs 20:4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. Some of you are begging in harvest season because you outsource practice to intercession. Illegal. Pray for wisdom, then draft the protocol. Pray for favor, then publish the proof. Pray for open doors, then build the handle people can pull. Write this down and tweet it. Don't chase attention. Cultivate authority. Attention is a spotlight. Authority is a sunrise. A spotlight moves on. A sunrise commands the day. Authority emerges when gift, discipline, and distinction converge over time. When your receipts multiply, when your method is teachable, when your outcomes are repeatable, attention becomes inevitable and irrelevant at the same time. Kings do not scroll, they scout. They look for authority. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Diligence is not frantic, it is focused. So here are your corrections. Receive them like medicine. Number 1, kill the shortcut. Choose a narrow input and practice it daily for 30 days. One protocol, one promise, one proof published, each iteration. Number 2, starve comparison. Unfollow 5 voices that tempt you to copy and replace them with 2 mentors who teach you to think. Read your own assignment out loud every morning. Purpose is a compass. Number 3, convert busyness into fruitfulness. Schedule 2 non-negotiable deep work blocks per day for your core value creation and push meetings to the margins. Number 4, sanctify prayer. Set a time to pray for wisdom and strategy and walk straight from prayer into practice with one measurable act of obedience. Then document the result. By their fruits you shall know them, Matthew 7:20, including yourself. Say this with conviction. I will not sabotage my demand. I will refuse shortcuts, reject comparison, and rebuke busyness. I will pray and practice. I will cultivate authority. One more time, louder. Because when you remove the leaks, the vessel holds. And when the vessel holds, law rewards you with seasons. You don't have to chase, only steward. Now we move from conviction to calendar. Write this down. A scheduled 3-0. Day obedience to value-building laws makes attraction measurable and repeatable. Say it out loud. Tweet this. Obedience scheduled becomes success predictable. What did I say? Success predictable. Joshua 1:8 says, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate day and night. Then you will make your way prosperous. In other words, when you put the law on your mouth, your mind, and your minutes, prosperity becomes a byproduct. So here is your protocol. Clear, covenantal, and countable. Every day for 30 days, you will complete a law block of 60 to 90 minutes, non-negotiable. Don't schedule it around the day. Schedule your day around it. Divide it into 3 equal lanes: skill, drill, signature, design, and proof creation. Write those 3 down and circle them. First, skill drill. This is discipline. Choose one micro skill that compounds your core gift and perform measurable reps. If you are a copywriter, write 10 headlines for one product and grade them against past conversion metrics. If you are a therapist, rehearse one diagnostic protocol on past cases and time your accuracy. If you are a developer, refactor one function 3 ways and benchmark performance. Set a timer, count the reps, keep a log. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Diligence is countable. In other words, excellence is not mystical, it is mathematical. Second, signature design. This is distinction, reducing your substitutability. Build one asset each day that makes your approach uncopyable. Name your framework. Simplify your method into a one-page map. Design a diagnostic scorecard. Craft a metaphor that explains your protocol in 10 words. Remove sameness. Write this down. Uniqueness is engineered, not discovered. Jesus taught with parables, distinct pictures that made his message memorable. Your parables are your metaphors, your visuals, your name steps. Don't be vague, be vivid. Third, proof creation. This is public fruit. Take what you drilled and what you designed and convert it into a small publishable artifact, a before and after chart, a 6-0 second demo, a screenshot with 3 bullets, a client micro win with permission, or a narrated clip of your process. Post it where your market can see and save it. Email, blog, LinkedIn, or a pin reel with a caption that names the problem, the protocol, and the proof. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. Not hear your intentions, see your works. Write this down. Hidden value denies the law of demand. Now, once a week, you will perform a public solve. Choose one visible problem in your lane, solve it for a real person or a real unit, and publish the case end to end with numbers. Start Monday by securing a baseline. Implement Tuesday through Thursday. Deliver Friday. Publish Saturday before, after, inputs, timeline, and results. If you are a nutrition coach, take a client snack routine from 900 sugar calories to 150 inches 3 days with a simple swap and chart the glucose change. If you are a data analyst, cut a report time from 3 hours to 15 minutes with a template and show the screen capture. Write this down. Public, measurable problem solving turns hidden value into visible demand. What did I say? Visible demand. Every Friday afternoon, you are governed by law with demand checkpoints. Open your signals board and count. Inbound invitations this week. Referral percentage. Conversion at each step. Wait list count and engagement. Prepayment rate. Proverbs 27-23. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. Flocks are your signals. If invitations rise but referrals fall, your promise is outpacing your performance. Adjust. If conversions spike but waitlist pressure explodes, limit capacity before excellence is compromised. Pause new starts, prioritize prepayments, or refer to trained partners. Acts 6 was a capacity correction. Choose 7 men whom we may appoint over this business, so that the apostles did not violate their law of excellence. Write this down. Governance protects grace. If you ignore the dashboard, the law will discipline you. The people law is next. Schedule proximity every week. One mentor call to gain wisdom. One peer critique to refine quality. And one beneficiary testimonial to harvest proof. Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with the wise grows wise. Proverbs 27-17. Iron sharpens iron. Call the mentor with one question you prepared from your week's work. Sit with a peer who will mark up your draft in red and thank them for the blood. Ask one client you served this week for a 6-0 second voice note. Before, problem. After, result. Would you recommend? That is lawful social proof. Write this down. Authority compounds in community, not in isolation. Now hear me as a pastor. Keep the Sabbath for sharpening. Mark 2:27. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the axe is dull and one does not sharpen the edge, then he must use more strength. But wisdom brings success. Rest is a law that protects excellence. One day each week in these 30 days, cease new production. Pre-schedule your post if you must, but you rest. Review your logs with gratitude. Take a long walk. Read wisdom literature. Restore relationships. Prepare meals. Sleep. Recovery is not laziness. Recovery is maintenance of mastery. Write this down. If you violate rest, the law will collect interest from your performance. Every morning and every night, practice the declaration routine. Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Joshua 1-8. Again, keep it in your mouth. Stand up, shoulders back, and say out loud, I don't chase. I cultivate. I obey laws. I attract results. I honor purpose, master excellence, and design distinction. Kings do not scroll. They scout, and I am becoming scouted. My gift, my discipline, and my distinction are multiplying. My proofs are public. My capacity is governed. My rest is holy, and my demand is lawful. Say it again. Put it on your mirror, your lock screen, your car dash. Some of you will feel silly on day 1. You will feel sovereign on day 30. Let me give you a small story to build your faith. Lila designs learning games for 3rd graders. She committed to this 30-day protocol. Each morning, 25 minutes of code refactoring, 5 minutes of signature design where she named her learning loops and drew icons, 25 minutes of proof. She posted a 1-minute clip showing a child solving fractions 40% faster. Weekly, she ran a public solve. She took a classroom's messy homework workflows and reduced check time from 18 minutes per student to 7, publishing the chart with a teacher's voice note. She tracked signals. Week 1, 2 invitations. Week 2, 5 invitations and 60% referrals. Week 3, a wait list formed. She adjusted capacity, licensed a junior designer for overflow, and kept the Sabbath no building on Sunday, just sharpening in scripture. On day 23, a district supervisor emailed, "We moved our meeting to fit your demo." Calendars bent. Why? Obedience scheduled became success predictable. Now, let me pastor your planning. Tonight, block the next 30 days on your calendar. Same time for the law block. Same review on Fridays. Same Sabbath. Put alarms on your phone with names, not tones. Drill, design, proof, signals, Sabbath, declare. Tell 2 people you trust, 1 mentor, 1 peer, and give them permission to ask you for receipts each week. Prepare your toolkits now. A timer, a spreadsheet for reps and signals, a simple template for public case studies, a contact list for testimonials. What did I say? Prepare now. Tweet this. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer. It comes by keeping laws on a schedule. Say this with me right now, with conviction. For the next 30 days, I covenant to a daily law block, a weekly public solve, governed demand, wise proximity, holy rest, and bold declarations. I will not chase. I will cultivate. I will not flatter emotions. I will measure signals. I will not violate excellence. I will adjust capacity. One more time, because when your obedience is on the calendar, your outcomes cannot hide. And when your outcomes cannot hide, opportunities reorganize themselves by law to find you working where you were designed to be. Now we seal it, not with feelings, but covenant. Write this down. Laws reward doers, not hearers. James 1:25 says, "The one who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does." What did I say? In what he does. So I'm going to lead you in a prayer of alignment, then you will sign your intention in public. Ready? Hands open, heart steady. Father, in the name of Jesus, we align. We lay down chasing. We pick up keeping. We submit to your design and the laws you baked into creation. Give us clarity of purpose. Shine light on the assignment. You knew before you formed us. Jeremiah 1-5. Jeremiah 29-11. Give us stamina for discipline. Grace to show up when the feeling is gone. To keep our hands to the plow without looking back. Luke 9-62. Give us courage for distinction. Boldness to reduce sameness and keep the higher law. Even if traditions resist. Joshua 1-9. Matthew 5:17. Give us wisdom to govern, demand eyes to measure, and hearts to steward. Proverbs 4-7, Proverbs 27-23. Teach our hands to war and our fingers to fight for excellence. Psalm 144-1. Sanctify our tongues to declare life and law. Proverbs 18:21. Establish the work of our hands. Yes, establish it. Psalm 90-17. Let your word not depart from our mouths. As we meditate and observe to do, make our way prosperous and grant us good success. Joshua 1-8. And let a voice behind us say, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30-21. We receive strength for 30 days of obedience and for a lifetime of stewardship in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, write this down. Covenant clarifies and clarity compels. Take out a sheet, yes, a literal page, or open a fresh document and title it Irresistible Intent. Under the title, write 3 lines and leave space to sign. Line 1, purpose. I, your name, am appointed to state your assignment in one clear sentence. Don't be poetic, be precise. Line 2, problem served. For the next 30 days, I will serve Name Your People by solving. Name the visible problem with. Name your protocol. The law wants a target. Line 3, proof I will produce. List 3 to 5 measurable proofs with dates. Case study reducing X from Y to Z by date. Demo or feature with metric improvement by date. Testimonial from beneficiary with result by date. Now, sign it. Date it. Add 2 witnesses, your mentor and your peer from the protocol. Post a copy where your eyes must see it every morning. Take a photo of the signed page and store it in your calendar on day 1 and day 30. Ecclesiastes 5:4 warns, when you vow a vow to God, do not delay in paying it. In other words, promises are legal tender, pay what you pledge. Tweet this right now to hold yourself accountable. I'm done chasing. I'm obeying the law of value and demand. Tag 2 people who will ask you for receipts. Write that down. Social proof is also social accountability. Don't just announce. Attach a first action. Day 1, law block, complete, drill, design, proof. Tweet it, post it, email it to your mentor. Hashtag it if you like, but more importantly, date it. Say this with me, loud and legal. Success is not pursued, it is attracted by obeying the law of value and demand. One more time. What did I say? Success is not pursued, it is attracted by obeying the law of value and demand. Joshua 1-8 is our legal precedent. Proverbs 22:29 is our public promise. Laws make life predictable. Tweet that to somebody. Now here is your charge. For the next 30 days, do not miss a day, not one. If travel comes, the law block travels. If feelings fade, the law block remains. If resistance rises, out comes answer. Hebrews 12:11 admits, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but later it yields a harvest of righteousness and peace. Later belongs to those who obey now. Write this down. Your calendar is your covenant. If you stumble, don't spiral, repent, return, and report. But do not negotiate the day. The law rewards continuity. The longest way to success is the shortcut. The shortest way is the schedule. Lift your voice and declare with me. I covenant to obey laws and attract outcomes. I align with purpose. I master excellence. I design distinction. I sow in practice. I reap in proof. I govern demand with wisdom. I protect rest with reverence. Kings will not need to be convinced. They will see. I will not chase. I will cultivate. Say it again. Proverbs 18:21. Life is in your tongue, so put life on your future. Let me bless you as you go to do and not just to nod. May the Lord make you like a watered garden whose systems never run dry. Isaiah 58:11. May the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. May kings scout you and calendars bend to your excellence. Proverbs 22:29. May your proofs be public and your rest be holy. May your distinction be undeniable and your demand lawful. And may you find after 30 days of obedience that success did not need to be chased. It found you working where you were designed to be. Write this final line on your irresistible intent and underline it. I will be known by fruits, not by noise. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Now go. Don't miss a day. Act upon what you heard. Laws are waiting to reward you. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I expect receipts.